Today, we are going to be ranking all of the legends in Apex Legends based on how good they are for Team Deathmatch. Some legends are significantly improved in Team Deathmatch, while others are significantly worse in Team Deathmatch. It's very similar to my Arenas tier list. You can check that out, but obviously Arenas is gone. RIP Arenas. You don't really like Apex TDM? Well, Apex TDM doesn't really like you, dude. Okay, let us go over these characters in, I guess, alphabetical order. Right off the bat, Ashe, her ultimate is okay for some escape materials, and her tactical is kind of useful in some 1v1 scenarios in the Team Deathmatch, but overall, like, I don't feel like she does anything better than anybody. She's not bad. Her passive is not even existent because there are no death boxes, so you get no passive essentially. So you're left with your tactical and your ultimate. Your ultimate is just a worse zipline at times or a better zipline at times, just depending on the scenario. It is just a solid escape tool. And in Team Deathmatch, living is as important as killing, because if you're not dying, the enemy team is not getting kills. So I'm gonna probably put her in seeds here. I think there's just way too many better mobility and better 1v1 assault type legends as well. Bangalore has complete utility. Her ultimate is actually very useful for creating space and even landing some kills on camping people on the high ground. Her smokes are phenomenal, but the downside is that your smokes are going to be countered by the fact that everybody is going to be using digi-threats in this game mode. Any gun that can have a digi-threat, you can just equip a digi-threat on, because why not? If you have the option to, why wouldn't you, right? Her passive ability, phenomenal. The fact that when she gets shot, she goes faster, that's actually huge for escaping. Playing Bangalore, it was so easy to survive. I was running away, healing up, getting back to the next fight, using my smokes tactically, killing people through smokes. Everything about Bangalore just worked really, really well for Team Deathmatch and for the Team Deathmatch format. So I think Bangalore is easily an S tier. I think it's a good spot to put Bangalore. Bloodhound. While the scans are useful, they just don't feel as necessary, because in a Team Deathmatch game mode, they might be camping, but if they're camping in a way where they're still shooting at you. They're not like just hiding in a corner. Ultimate, not that great. Being fast is good, but beyond that, nothing else really happens. Probably in seats here, right below Ashe. I think there are significantly better legends and honestly, better scan legends. Catalyst. I found Catalyst's tactical to be kind of mid. I didn't feel like her tactical did anything in a significant way. Her ultimate could create some interesting pushes potentially, but in practice, kind of unnecessary and takes a little too long to come out. Her passive with the doors might be the best thing that she's got going for her in Skulltown or in maps that actually have doors, like Party Crasher. But I do think the doors thing is going to be huge for surviving, because you can block off some doors, get a heal off, and then just run away to the next fight. And I think that's kind of a big deal because, like I said, survival is going to be key to everything. In close quarters maps, I would say Catalyst is actually pretty useful, but not as useful as other characters that we'll talk about. I think low B tier for Catalyst is fair for a Team Deathmatch. Caustic feels really good. I think camping is an option. Like, you don't have to be the aggro team. You could just hold and hunker down like an area. You can't go wrong with a couple Caustic traps here and there, stopping the enemy and killing them in their tracks. His ultimate is insane. And if other people are running Caustic, I think you can swap to a Caustic and get a lot of value. I do think Caustic is pretty decent. I don't know if he's like a must pick at all, like not an S tier character like Bangalore, but I do think he solidly fits himself in A tier. I do genuinely think that Caustic is really, really annoying to deal with in Team Deathmatch and can hold down high ground or just areas in general better than a lot of other controller characters can do. Crypto's an F tier. Like, don't get me wrong, his EMP is good, but that's it. I don't know. I think there's better characters that can scan more actively, like Bloodhound and Seer, and characters that can just do more damage actively with their ultimates. And his ultimate takes forever to come out anyway, so it's like, I just don't see why you would end up using Crypto over a bunch of other characters. I would say he's probably the worst character to use in Team Deathmatch. You're not bringing much value to your team, in complete honesty. I guess there is a scenario where if the enemy team is hunkering down with Caustics and Watsons and stuff, that Crypto would see a lot of value. So I don't want to like completely deny the fact that he has some utility, and the fact that you can throw his drone is kind of useful. I would say D tier. I don't think anyone's really F tier. We'll have to see if there's anyone that's like that trash, but I think D tier is a little bit more reasonable, because there may be some scenarios where Crypto could be useful in a very specific scenario where everybody's running like really, really, really campy stuff. Fuse's grenades are great. People tend to like be poking a lot. They like poke, and they think that they're safe because like I'm hiding behind a wall, but you can usually hit your nade really effectively and force them out of their position or kill them. I think his tactical is one of the best tacticals in Team Deathmatch, straight up. His ultimate is so good for pushing people off the high ground. You just spam that ultimate out, get people off the top, use it to your advantage while simultaneously also scanning for your team. His passive not really as strong as it normally would be, but it could still be useful to like yeet grenades really fast and really far. I think a lot of the assault characters are going to get a lot of value in Team Team Deathmatch, because if the goal is killing, he's someone that knows how to kill very well and very effectively. I would put Fuse at the bottom of A tier. I think he's that effective. I think his tacticals are just that good. And his ultimate is also really strong, and it comes out pretty quickly. It's not on the longest cooldown, you know? Next up, we got Gibraltar. Gibraltar surprised me. I was having a ton of fun playing as him. I think the bubble is really, really good, especially in a game mode where you passively heal. Getting free protection, protecting your teammates from oncoming fire, from other ultimates, from everything in between is a very strong thing to do. You can fight in the bubble and make some pretty cool bubble plays like I did earlier with that Kraber. And his arm shield is obviously really good. Biggest downside, he has a big hitbox. I do think that makes him a little bit weaker than most characters in general. But yeah, even his ultimate is not that bad. It's a little bit easy. It's a little bit predictable and easy to avoid. But if people are camping in high ground area, it's really good to get them off of it as well. Solid B tier legend for sure. Horizon is really strong in maps that are extremely vertical, but otherwise very average character. Her abilities just become stronger and stronger depending on how vertical the map is. So on Skulltown, Horizon's amazing. On Party Crasher, okay. On Habitat, okay. But her ultimate is also really good, and her passive ability of just like sliding really fast is great for surviving and running away. So I don't want to like discredit her in that sense. Like I still think she has a lot of utility and a lot of value that you can bring to your team. So I'd probably put her at the bottom of A tier. I think she's like pretty solidly useful for her mobility alone. Getting your team up to a high ground is also a really big plus. Lifeline. Lifeline doesn't have a passive because you can't revive anybody, but they make up for it tremendously because Lifeline's tactical drone is so good for getting back in the fight because healing takes forever. So having the tactical drone is really nice. Lifeline's ultimate is the only time that purple armor ever comes down. So you and your two teammates can have purple armor, which is broken in this game mode. I think the purple armor alone makes Lifeline almost a must pick. Just getting that guaranteed extra armor is going to increase your team's longevity and make you a lot stronger. Now, is she S tier? No, because she doesn't really have any mobility. She really does miss out on an extra ability that would help her in the grand scheme of things, but I do think she's at the top of A tier. Purple armor is just that strong. Loba has an unfortunate wombo combo of things. Her bracelet isn't the greatest mobility. It's good. It's good for escaping and surviving, so I'm going to give her credit for that, but her ultimate does basically nothing. Like, yes, you can get like power weapons in a way, but until they make those power weapons actually worth getting, I guess the Kraber's the only one, but otherwise, like, it's not that hard to go to the care package and just grab a weapon. Her passive is basically useless. Who cares? We love her to death, but most of her abilities are pretty useless except for her bracelet. If it wasn't for her bracelet being okay, she would be an F tier, but she's a little bit better than Crypto, so I'll put her in D tier. Mad Maggie, her drill is really good for stopping people from healing behind a wall because they think they're safe. They're like, oh, I took a couple damage of poke, like just like Fuse where you're like poking, and they think they're safe. They can get like a med kit off, and then out of nowhere the riot drill comes out and you're dead. That is huge. Mad Maggie having the passive ability of running around with a shotgun. She feels really fast because of that, and that's really nice. The Peacekeeper is a really good gun in Team Deathmatch, and her ultimate is not like phenomenal, but there's some situations where it could create some havoc and create some space, and she's definitely like counters a lot of these more campy playstyles as well, which makes her even better. So I would put her probably in like top of B tier, where she's better and better depending on what the enemies are choosing, if that makes sense. If you pick up Mad Maggie in Team Deathmatch, you'll see a lot of value. Mirage also does not have a passive in Team Deathmatch. He makes up for it in the fact that his clones are really annoying and really good. His ultimate comes the fastest. His ultimate just like constantly, you can get your ultimate every single fight basically. That's how fast it comes. And his ultimate is also really good for the 1v1 scenarios and escaping. Everything that he does, with the exception of his lack of passive, is built for Team Deathmatch. He's a lot better than I give him credit for. I'm gonna put him probably like an A tier right there. I think that's fair. A rare Mirage W. Newcastle doesn't have a passive. Newcastle doesn't have the greatest strengths. His tactical is really good. I really did enjoy using the tactical. It's good to push people trying to like shoot you from a distance. I do find that really good. His ultimate also pretty strong, setting up an area, hunkering and bunkering down. But in general, he's just a bit too big and a bit too slow to really be useful in most scenarios. And I don't think you should be running Newcastle in Team Deathmatch when there's a lot of other better options that can hunker down and bunker down better. Newcastle is probably at the bottom of C tier. Octane. I'm so biased, but I don't care. I think Octane has the perfect trifecta of things. His passive is so good in a game mode where you passively heal shields, but you don't passively heal health. If you just decide to never stim, you're getting your health back, which is already a huge plus. On top of the fact that his ultimate comes out pretty fast and it's so useful. It's probably one of the best, if not the best mobility move that you can do in team deathmatch because it's so aggro. You can tap strafe off of it. You can use it defensively and offensively. So his ultimate, phenomenal. The stim is also really good for pushing aggressively and or escaping and running away. I really do think Octane is in a really good place when it comes to team deathmatch meta. I'm gonna put Octane at an S tier. I do think Octane is that good. Everyone's running Octanes. Octane's got crazy mobility, dude. You just get too much value out of Octane's jump pad. It's the passive that I think is just so strong in team deathmatch. Then we got Pathfinder. Pathfinder's grapple is always good. A good Pathfinder main can survive pretty much everything. Pathfinder mains are gonna be really good at grappling in and out of fights with ease and never dying. Unfortunately, once again, no passive, but he never had a passive, so who cares? His ultimate is good, but I feel like it's still like a little bit easy to kill people off of them. The downside with team deathmatch is that the way spawns are is that his ultimate ends up being used by everybody. Like same thing with Octane. Octane's ultimate gets used by everybody, but you can't even break your own zip lines or anything. Whereas with Octane, you can like get your whole team to a high ground and then shoot that jump pad if you want to. So his ultimate just is permanent and stays there, so everyone can use it, even the enemy. And I think that's a big downside that you don't realize. But in general, Pathfinder's not bad at all. Like not at all. Slightly worse than Horizon, so like A-. As you can see, the A tier is really stacked here, but I do think that like a lot of the legends do skew towards being decent and good. Next up is Rampart. Now Rampart does what Newcastle wishes they could do. I went off building a bunch of walls. I built a bunch of walls with Rampart and was able to survive with relative ease. Her ultimate is also kind of nuts if you're trying to stop people from bunkering. You can always have an LMG, you know? So I do really enjoy Rampart, building them walls and stuff, right? Do I think she's like a must pick? No, but I think she's better than Newcastle, so I'd probably put her in B tier. I put her above Gibby. I think she does what Gibby does, but a little bit more consistently and gets a little bit more value out of her walls versus Gibby's bubble, which is only like one-sided and takes forever to come back. You can kind of build walls constantly. It feels pretty good. Yeah, B tier for Rampart is good. Revenant is amazing in Skulltown and nothing else. His silence is not bad, but at the same time, like it's not great either. It's good for maybe getting that final like pick if you already weaken them a lot. Otherwise, like Revenant is a little underwhelming. If it wasn't for the fact that he's good in Skulltown, he'd probably be in D tier, to be honest, because his ultimate kind of mid for team deathmatch in particular, where you respawn, so it's like, okay. I would say slightly better than Newcastle, but worse than Bloodhound in C tier. I put him in C tier only because I'm telling you that climbing ability is that useful, not gonna lie. Seer's the best scan legend still, even after all the nerfs. Seer's ability to stop heals is huge. Seer's ultimate is nuts, covers so much ground in team deathmatch. You can see where everybody is. I do think Seer is not bad at all. I don't think you need scanning as much as you do in Battle Royale, so I don't think it's like a must pick or in the A tier level, but I do think top of B tier is a fair place to put Seer. Valkyrie's ultimate is completely useless. I mean, it's not completely useless. It's good for like scanning, going around and like trying to find like a rat or something. That's not the worst option that you could do, but you could get shot out of the sky. Her mobility is not bad, and her tactical is also not bad either for like getting that final damage or stunning them and getting a kill. So in general, I do think that Valkyrie is not the worst pick. They're just better mobility legends. Let's just be honest. I think better than Catalyst at least. I think B tier, but like below Gibby, better than Catalyst. I think that's fair. Next up, we got Vantage, and Vantage is actually in a weird space where her mobility is decent. Her ultimate feels kind of like fine. In a mode where you have unlimited ammo, it doesn't feel as useful as it could be. But in a mode also where you can basically have like 2 close quarters weapons, having like a guaranteed third sniper is not bad. Her passive is also pretty good in a mode that has a lot of Bangalore smokes and stuff, right? In general though, I just think Vantage is just slightly outclassed by Pathfinder and Horizon when it comes to that vertical mobility, but she's probably better than a lot of these B tier people. So I think above Rampart right here in B tier. The mobility is good, don't get me wrong. That's why I like where she's at in B tier. And then we got our favorite girl, Watson. Watson is definitely a character that can be good. Her ultimate is a great anti like grenade thing. Her fences are kind of like they're there, I guess. A lot of times you're not really gonna be holding down buildings unless your goal is just to camp like a building, right? I don't think they're gonna add maps that have too much of a hunker bunker style to them. They're gonna want maps that have a little bit more of options of which way you can go, different routes and stuff. They don't want people to just be camping a corner and whatnot. But if camping becomes the meta, I could see her being really useful. In general though, I found her kind of mid, better than Newcastle, better than Revenant. I'll probably put it right there, middle of C tier. Still more valuable than Loba and Crypto, to be completely honest. Last but certainly not least, we have Wraith. Wraith's tactical is so good in this game mode because the timer doesn't stop when you're in the Wraith form. What timer am I talking about? I'm talking about the shield recharge timer. The shield recharge timer does not stop when you're in the Wraith form. So as long as you get out, your shield's gonna start recharging. It's kind of amazing. Her get out of jail free card really is one in this game mode, especially now that they buffed her mobility slightly, I believe, and her ultimate is like so good. I don't think it's necessary, but getting your team to like a different point is also an option. Kind of going back and forth through the map for a while is kind of amazing for just like spawn camping and stuff if you're really aggro. I'm being dead serious. When it comes to just survivability, I think that her tactical alone carries her. I almost want to put her like below Lifeline, above Caustic, like right there in A tier. Woo! That is our final tier list. At the bottom of the whole tier list, we have none other than Crypto, followed by Loba. Then we got in C tier, Newcastle, Revenant, Watson, Bloodhound, and Ashe. Then we got Catalyst, Valkyrie, Gibby, Rampart, Vantage, Mad Maggie, Seer. And then in A tier, we got Pathfinder, Horizon, Mirage, Fuse, Caustic, Wraith, and Lifeline. And at the top of S tier, we have Octane and Bangalore. This is the Team Deathmatch tier list. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree with it? Let me know in the comments down below. What is your best character and what is the worst character in Team Deathmatch? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for vibing. And before I end the video, I do want to say one thing. We've been releasing a ton of content on the Soar Gaming channel and the Soar Apex Gaming channel. On the Apex channel, me and Draynilla made our own heirloom tier list, where we argue about which heirlooms are the best. And on the main channel, I made a goofy Price is Right type video. You gotta check out these videos. The links will be in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.